Tonight's meal, tilapia surprise with boiled cabbage. Begin cooking steps 1 through 50 now.
Are you kidding me? Making dinner shouldn't feel like doing a 1,000-piece puzzle. With Blue Apron's new one-pan assemble and bake meals, the hard part's already done. Pre-chopped ingredients, zero stress. Just assemble, bake, and enjoy. No complicated steps, no mountain of dishes. Try Assemble and Bake today. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
No brakes, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome along. I'm Ian Brannan. This is a shorter than normal episode for this week because we'll be back with a longer one later in the week. We will be celebrating the 2025 Rome Motor Oil Premiership title winners, the Ipswich Witches, later in the week, where we'll be catching up with Chris Louis, Richie Hawkins, and I think Danny King, but don't quote me on that, but I think Danny King. So that will be an Ipswich Fest later in the week. However, just to round up a couple of key moments in British Speedway that have occurred over the last few days and bring you a few interviews. And I'll also have a look ahead to what is going to be happening over the course of this week, because there are some major meetings ahead. We'll start off with events at Redcar last Friday night, because the Poole Pirates secured the first silverware of 2025 with a comprehensive 51-39 win at Redcar in the MaxiCab Knockout Cup, taking the trophy for the 4th time in 5 years. It's becoming a bit of a habit, isn't it? The Pirates led the tie by 14 points from the home leg going into it, but then really dominated things on Teesside to take their second victory in the space of a week in the Northeast. The Pirates led on the night from the first race. Home number 1 Charles Wright was disqualified after clashing with Tobias Thompson, and the aggregate victory was secured with a win for Louis Kerr in heat number 12. With only 1 point required from the race, it was all done and dusted. Richard Lawson completed a perfect cup final with a 15-point maximum to follow on from his paid max on Wednesday, and skipper Zach Cook dropped just 1 point from 5 rides as he finished on 12+2. For the Redcar Bears, reserve Ace Piper collected 2 wins early on in the meeting. He top scored with 9+1 and also walks away from a heavy crash in Heat 8 as well. Well, we'll get some reaction now from the Poole Pirates camp. And first of all, let's hear from Neil Middleditch. Would you believe it's 32 trophies now for Neil Middleditch in his time in charge of the Poole Pirates? And, 14 finals as well reached since the Pirates dropped to the championship level of Speedway in 2021. It's not a bad record, is it? But does Midlow get bored of winning? Here he is speaking to BSN's Greg Blair.
People ask me that, do you get nervous before finals? Yes, I do. I still do. I still get that dry mouth, and because I've had that passion still. But yeah, it's a great result. I mean, I'm pleased for the whole team, for myself, for Javi and the supporters and the management. I mean, we work very hard to be this good, and it's working out so far. But say a couple more to go.
You've kept with the very similar team to what you started the season off with. When you signed them riders at the start of the season, everybody knew that William Cairns was coming in. Having the similar team and pretty much the same as last year as well. There's not been too much of a difference there. Does it make it easier for you to work with them guys? Yeah,
I think continuity is a big thing. You know yourself. If you get an injured rider or whatever, and the demographics of the team changes. But I think the fact that I've basically walked in the pits every week, every meeting, and seen the same 7 riders, it's great for me. We all kind of know how we work together, and the team spirit's been really, really good this year.
With we're looking through the lineups, you've got Richard Lawson at number 1, a very well-established British rider, doing his bits on the continent as well. And then you go right down to the list, you've got, Will Cairns there, who's certainly going to be one for the future. Maybe a lot of pressure was put on him in media stuff this season, but he's kind of just working away slowly and doing his thing. And you'll have seen it many times, young riders that come through look like they've got something. What do you make of Will Cairns at this time?
I was just having a chat with Will there a moment ago, and I said, when he won that race, I said that's how good you can be. And he's 16 years old, as you say. I mean, he's got a lot to learn, a lot of track craft to learn. We had him out after the meeting at Poole on Wednesday night. Ben Cook was telling him to, go in a bit deeper and maintain the speed, because he has a habit of coming in a bit tight and scraping the speed off, and people are rounding him up. But when he gets out in front, he's very, very hard to catch. But yeah, 16 years old, the kid's good. I mean, he's going to be good. He's going to get better and better, and it's just track craft, learning where to ride. You know, if you watch, like, say, Zach Cook, for example, you know, with Righty chasing him, you know, he knows where Charlie's coming. He's covering the bases, and that's what you've got to do. You can't just think, oh, I'll ride the inside. Toby messed up in his last one, keeping Danny behind. 3 brilliant laps, made one mistake, went down, and Danny took advantage of it. So that's what you've got to learn.
Well, while we're on the subject of Will Cairns, of course, as was mentioned there, came into the side halfway through the season, turning 16 in the summer, but already has won his first major silverware in the Cab Direct Championship in Poole Pirates colours. Here he is, Will Cairns, talking to BSN's Paul Cooper.
We started the night a little bit slow, but made a couple changes, and to go win Heat 8 with, you know, some good boys at number 2 and stuff, and obviously we wish Ace all the best. Had a nasty one there, but yeah, to first year in the league and first win under my belt. Pretty cool feeling.
And how is it riding under Neil Middleditch? He's been doing this a long time. He's a very knowledgeable guy on the spot. Does he help you out very much with the bikes and the setup in the team?
Yeah, he's a great guy, great team manager, and he's something else when it comes to tactics and stuff, and yeah, he knows his way around Speedway.
He does indeed. And what's your plan for the future then? Do you want to stay in this league, or do you want to progress up into the Premier League in the future?
Yeah. I just kind of have to take it as it goes. I'm still 16, and yeah, I'm still learning and just trying to work out the Speedway thing. But yeah, it's just have to take it as it comes, and hopefully get a Premiership spot next year and stay in this league next year.
Not a bad start to your career in League Speedway, is it? In the Cab Direct Championship for Will Cairns, winning within months of joining the side. Well, Richard Lawson won in style on Friday, not least getting the trophy, but of course with a full maximum. That's on top of a paid maximum in the first leg as well. He was not beaten by an opponent across the 2 legs. Not many people can say that. Here is Richard Lawson with Paul Cooper.
Richard Lawson, number 1 for Poole. Definitely a number 1 performance tonight. Really impressive. Unbeaten by an opponent, and you helped win the trophy again. How's that feel for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. Poole seemed to step up that one bit when it comes to finals, and you know, I felt like I did the same. It's nice to go through the card through both legs, so yeah, chuffed to bits.
Good. I mean, you're going to go for 3 now, aren't there? There's a chance of getting the 3 trophies this year. Is that possible for the team?
Yeah, 100%. I think we've all clicked at the right time, and yeah, there was a target at the start of the year, you know, to defend that treble, and now we've put ourselves in a good position, and yeah, 1 down, 2 to go.
And finally, you've celebrated tonight, but also you celebrated last week as well, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an unreal couple of weeks for me and Shani. I'm spraying this quick and trying to rush back to get back to see Shani and Rio back home.
So the Poole Pirates getting the job done once again, in no small part thanks to Richard Lawson there, and congratulations to Richard and family. But back on the bike, and a bit of a points machine, you have to say. Well, that is good news for Danny Ford, co-promoter of the Poole Pirates, as they head into a busy period. Still 2 more cup finals to come. Next up, it is the main course, the big one, the Cab Direct Championship playoff final against the Glasgow Tigers. First leg on Wednesday, second leg on Friday up in Glasgow. I caught up with Danny at Redcar after that first silverware was secured.
Yeah, we were really good tonight. Better than we were when we last came, but we had Rich back, and as I said, he is our talisman. It was a huge loss when we didn't have him, so to have him back in the team, the boys are really fired up, and yeah, first one done. This one's on its way back home.
And as you say, Richard Lawson, maybe a little bit of a miss when you were here the other day, but his 2 performances, both at Wimborne Road and here, and well, he's barely dropped a point. So.
Yeah, he didn't.
Not to an opponent anyway.
No, so yeah, he's something else. You know, the level of consistency, and he's just a point scoring machine. So yeah, to any team that has a Richard Lawson in their ranks is going to be tough to beat, and so it proved tonight. So yeah, it's still some big ones to come, but you know, we've really set ourselves up for hopefully a bit more silverware this season.
It's always maybe an awkward position when you're a victim of your own success. In the closed season, you have to make changes, and you have to take riders out. Maybe some of those changes this time were forced on you with Tom Brennan and Ben Cook sort of standing down from this level of speedway, and hard riders to replace. But here you are again in 3 finals and the first silverware in the bag.
Yeah, they were really hard to replace. They made our lives in team selection a little bit easier. We didn't have to make any tough decisions, losing those 2, kind of like, and it was just you know, fine. It was impossible to find like-for-like replacements. Obviously, they were irreplaceable, but Louis come in, and he's just showing what he's about. You know, he had a tough year, Louis, mechanically, like, you know, he had so many gremlins, but, you know, tonight he had one more mechanical, dropped a chain, but that can happen to anyone, but was absolutely phenomenal tonight. And Anders was really fighting against us tonight. He was actually physically sick multiple times during the meeting, so credit to him for getting 3 rides done. And then I didn't want to, but I took the decision to take him out his final ride because he was in a bad way, and he really wanted to get out of the Heat 13, but there was no pressure. We'd won the meeting by then, and you know, I thought it was the best thing to do. Hopefully he's back ready to go for Wednesday.
Yeah, well, this is it, and all silverware is good silverware for any team, but I know that the league championship is certainly the one that you're really focused on and probably want to win maybe that little bit more than anything else, and that's the big one against Glasgow on Wednesday night for the first leg.
That most certainly is the big one. Let's not beat around the bush. Glasgow are going to be really, really tough to beat. You know, they're incredibly strong at home. You know, now they've got Nigel back in the team. He's a great rider, but we need to really capitalise on having the first leg at home. In my view, we can make the tie dead and buried in that first leg if we perform like we know we can. Redcar are probably the best team opponents to come to us, and last week on Wednesday we turned them over. So if we can do a similar job against Glasgow, we can get there very solidly, maybe put the tie beyond doubt.
And something that we've not often seen in Speedway is Midlow in Middlesbrough. It's not something we see very often, but it's happened tonight. There's the evidence. But I guess that being on the centre green maybe was what attracted him.
Oh, absolute trophy hunter, I know, but I managed to get him up for this one. He showed a bit of the drive with me, and we both got nosebleeds coming this far north. To be honest, we're proper southern boys. So how he looks after us, shows us the ropes around here. He's well known around here. So yeah, great to have both the team managers in the pits. There was no pressure on me tonight. Usually I'm Happy's programme filler, but he's always moaning about how badly I fill out the programme. So that pressure wasn't on me tonight. So I could actually just go out there and enjoy it, and the boys delivered tonight. There was no stress in the pits. We knew that this is an incredibly strong track for us. As I've said multiple times, we were very good here. It's a great track. It's my favourite track in the league to come and watch Speedway at. So I knew that we could perform in the night, and I felt that even before a wheel was turned.
Well, it's lucky that Danny Ford likes trips to Redcar, because there's another one on the cards, of course, isn't there? Because the two sides will meet again in the final of the BSN series. But that's next week. This week, it's all about the Cab Direct Championship playoff final against Glasgow. And you can find out how that turns out. This Wednesday is the first leg down at Wimborne Road. Second leg will be on Friday, and you can watch both live on BSN for the full 15 heats from each venue, and ultimately, of course, crowning the 2025 Cab Direct Championship champion. As far as the Redcar Bears are concerned, of course, it was not the ideal end to the meeting which happened on Sunday. Unfortunately, Redcar's clash with the Glasgow Tigers was abandoned before the final heat when there was an incident with a bike going over the fence. Thankfully, everybody was all right, rider and the fans that were involved, when the bike came to rest near some fans just at the other side of the fence coming out of turn 4 at Redcar. The result was decided via heat advantages in the end, because when the meeting was abandoned, it was all level on aggregate score, and the only provision in the rule book to sort that out, of course, is heat advantages, and Redcar won that one narrowly, so it'll be the Redcar Bears and the Poole Pirates facing off in the BSN Series Grand Final. So then, next on No Breaks, No Fear, we'll have a little bit of reaction from Workington. It was the British Under-19 Championships, and we'll hear from those on the podium next.
No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome back. I'm Ian Brannan. Let's turn our attention to what's happened on Saturday afternoon at Workington then, because Luke Harrison was crowned the British Under-19 champion after what was a dramatic finish to a hugely entertaining event at Workington. Scunthorpe and Kings Lynn youngster had been runner-up last season, but this time went one better in a meeting which was decided in a three-way runoff. Luke Harrison was joined on 12 points from 5 rides by his Young Stars teammates, Jody Scott and Cooper Rushen, and their shot at the title came after heartbreak for home rider Vinnie Ford. He looked set to be on course to move on to 13 points and be uncatchable and win the meeting when he was leading Heat 19, only to suffer a seized engine as the top prize there immediately slipped away. It means that 3 riders on 12 points went into a straight runoff for the crown, which Harrison took ahead of Jody Scott, who was second, and 15-year-old Cooper Rushen was third. We can hear from the 3 on the podium right now. We'll hear from Jody Scott and Luke Harrison in a moment, but we'll first of all hear from bronze medal winner Cooper Rushen.
If you'd have said to me at the start of the day I'd have been third on my first year, I wouldn't have believed you. So, I can't thank Neil, who was in us with the pits, and Dad. They got the bikes sorted for us today. It's a shame to get last in the runoff, but I've only got beat by 2 boys who have performed way better on this day, and you got to give them a shout out for that. But yeah, like I say, we can't wait for the next couple of years, and hopefully we can be where Luke's standing one day.
Yeah, you're still 15 at this moment, and you've got a few years left yet.
Yeah, we just take every year as it comes, and we learnt more today about the bike, so hopefully by the next couple of years we'll learn a lot more and we'll see where we stand.
The rider who finished in second place this afternoon, again, fantastic start. Firstly, great for you to be back on the bike, but you started off with a win, and obviously it was a close battle in that final as well.
Yeah, it was. Obviously, I'm gutted not to get the first place, but having 12 days off the bike wasn't really great for me, but I came out in my first ride and got the win, so I had the confidence for the rest of the night, and just please really chuffed for second place.
Top of the podium then, you are the British Under-19 champion. You're a British champion, Luke Harrison.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, it's good to finally do it, after last year where I came second after it getting rained off, and then coming so close in the under-21s and just not quite getting there in the final. To get the under-19s this year was a big thing for me.
Obviously, at the moment, but there was a moment where Vinnie was in the box seat. He was nearly there, and then had that crash, which led to this situation, I guess, for runoff for first place. A bit of extra pressure, though. You never know what's going to happen in something like that.
Yeah, Vinnie rode great today, and he became really unlucky in that last race. He deserved to win it in that race. But that's sometimes how the sport goes, and went to runoff, and it's just all about how you handle the pressure. It could have gone any way, really.
So for you now, the pressure's off. A great way for you to round off your season.
Yeah, it's not too bad, So I'll probably go home, have a few drinks and whatnot. And actually, no, I won't. I'm riding tomorrow. Yeah, after tomorrow, I'll have a few drinks and then wait till next season, I guess.
Yeah, and obviously the winter ahead. Have you got any plans over the course of the winter? Or anything on in the world of Speedway, or are you taking a break from it?
9 December, I'm going out to Australia to ride for 6 weeks. So that should be good, keep me on the bike throughout the winter. So then at the start of next season, I can hit the ground running and carry on up in my average.
So well done to Luke Harrison, who gets the job done and gets himself the 2025 British Under-19 Championship. So on the subject of Youth Speedway, the Young Lions can confirm that the next 2 rounds of the 2025 British Youth Championships for the 500cc and 250cc classes will take place at Leicester over the next 2 weekends. 250cc class will ride on Sunday this week, October the 19th, after Leicester's NDL fixture against Bellevue, and the 500cc class will take place 7 days later. That's October 26th, after the NDT fixture against Kent. So all to be decided there at the top end of the table, but I'll tell you what, having attended the youth series at Workington last weekend, fantastic racing, really fantastic racing, and you will not be disappointed. Get yourself down there and take some speedway in either this weekend or next weekend. The 250cc class as well, by the way, is fantastic stuff. So if you want to have a peek into the future of British Speedway, then you will be enlightened, I can tell you that. But check that out, Leicester this week and next week for the 500. 100cc Youth Championships for the final rounds, so that will be resolved at those events as well. Something else which is going on this Thursday, and this is at Ipswich, something different, something new, but again, a glimpse into the future. This is called Tigers Open, named after John Tiger Louis. Tigers Academy Open taking place at Vauxhall Stadium this Thursday, and racing starting at the usual time. Parade at 7:30, first race at 7:45. And this is going to be something a little bit different. So you've got a great lineup of the upcoming riders. So Cooper Russian is in it, Jody Scott, Ace Piper, Ben Trigger, Jake Mulford, Vinnie Ford, Jamie Etherington, Ashton Vale, and they've been paired up with sort of a next layer down, if you like, of riders. So Eli Meadows, Seth Norman, Harrison Rogers, Geordie Loftus, Jack Schmeltz, Ryan Ingram, Senna Summers, and Steen Piper. And it's working as both an individual event, but also later on a bit of a pairs event thrown in there as well. So there's qualifying heats, semi-finals and finals, and get along and watch that. It's going to be something different, and certainly some top upcoming British talent in that as well. So that's at Leicester this Thursday night, their final meeting of the year. So if the weather is going to be good, get down there and take that one in, because that's going to be something, as I say, different for your diary. Looking ahead to what else is coming up then in British Speedway, the week ahead, it is a crucial week in the Cab Direct Championship, because simply it is the grand final of the Cab Direct Championship. Poole and Glasgow battling it out for the title. The first leg's at Wimborne Road on Wednesday, and then the title will ultimately be decided 48 hours later, a long way up the road in Scotland at Ashfield, Glasgow Tigers home track. And regardless of the result, the Pirates are going to be back in action just a day later at Redcar on the Saturday, when it'll be the first leg of the BSN Series final, with the second leg the following Wednesday back at Wimborne Road. So that's in the Championship. And in the National League, as we touched on, there's a bit of action to resolve as well. Leicester facing Bellevue in the NDL on Sunday. Second place in the table, their reward if they can win the match. Meanwhile, there's NDT action at the Coliseum on Saturday as Plymouth host Kent, where a win for the visitors would secure runners-up spots. And as we mentioned, Ipswich staging the Tigers Academy Open at Vauxhall on Thursday. And we've got the 250cc section of the British Youth Championships at Leicester on Sunday after the National Development League match. Easy for me to say, but we'll round off at that point. As I say, this is kind of part one, a little bit of an appetizer for you, because the main part of the podcast will come as a separate episode on probably Friday this week, hopefully, or if not, it'll be on Saturday. But we're going to be catching up with Chris Louis and Richie Hawkins and some others from the Ipswich Witches to celebrate their Rome Motor Oil Premiership title win. So that's on the way later in the week, so another episode to come. But in the meantime, have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you in the next episode here on No Brakes, No Fear.
No Brakes, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.